Remember, we're working hard to promote our community and yours. All right. Hello, everybody. Hold on 1 minute. I got to fix this camera. Somebody bumped it. Hold on 1 minute.
Zoe.
Can't get you guys in there. All right. We're back. All right, that's better. I had to fix the camera. Got to get all these lovely faces on there. Yeah, okay. Right, Richard?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, welcome to the show. This is Kerry.
Are you
I'm
reading
your host.
that?
Yeah, I'm reading it. It's Thursday, January 29, 2015, and you're listening to show number 231. Yes, it's our last show of January, so that means Senator David Knezek will be here a little later with a monthly update for us. The senator will be calling in and also explain why he's calling tonight, and we'll discuss the new committees that he's assigned to and some contact information and much more. Richard's going to have some county news for us and what's new with him as well, so stay tuned for that. I'm your host, Kerry. Also joining me tonight is Wayne County Commissioner Richard LeBlanc. Richard, you're in the house, finally.
Richard is in the house.
And also joining us is our resident weatherman, Dr. Tom Iwinski. Tom, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Oh, well, we're settling down here. And also getting to be a regular on the show, former councilman and Garden City resident Mike Jones is in the studio. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Gary.
Awesome. All right, well, welcome to the show, and welcome those of you listening online and in the chat room, and to those that will be watching us on our YouTube channel later. We thank you, and we appreciate your support. Tom will be here shortly with all the latest weather, and it's a little snowy out there, so we'll see when that's going to end. And also, Joy and Holly are back with us with their 2-minute gardening tips. And tonight's topic is peppers. Ooh, last week it was onions. We also have some announcements for you as well. So we hope you'll stick around for the next 60 minutes or so. And you can join us here tonight via our chat room by going to our main show page at TalkShoe.com and search for show ID 82757. Once you're there, just click on the large join in button, sign in as a guest, and that's all there is to it. Now, once you're in the chat room, you can type your questions or comments at the bottom of the page, and you'll find our phone number and show ID there as well. Now, to call in tonight, the phone number is, Richard?
724-444-7444. And then you enter caller ID 82757 and the pound sign.
All right. Good job.
Yeah.
You can always text your questions or comments to us at 734-788-9319. So sit back, grab your favorite beverage. We have, right, Richard?
Yes.
Yes. And enjoy the show. Don't forget, once you're in our main show page, you'll see all 231 shows there where you can download and listen to all our shows at your convenience whenever and wherever you want. It's also a great way to get caught up on any shows you may have missed. We're also in iTunes. For your convenience, just search for GC Community Chat. And don't forget, we're doing a video recording of tonight's show, so you can put a face with the voice, and that video will be available later on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Community Chat Show. We have several other shows over there for you as well, so check them out. Now, last week we talked about the fundraiser for our good friend Billy Riddle, who is literally fighting for his life, folks, at U of M Hospital. Several people have asked me how they can still donate, and I'm going to mention that right now. If you missed the fundraiser for Billy Riddle and would like to still donate, you can do so by writing a check made payable to Merriman Road Baptist Church or to Faith Riddle, that's F-A-I-T-H, Faith Riddle, and mail or hand deliver that to Merriman Road Baptist Church at 2055 Merriman Road in Garden City, 48135. And they thank you for all your donations, your prayers, and well wishes. Okay, before we go any further, let's get the latest weather update with Tom, and then we'll get Joey and Holly in here.
There you go.
Sound like a winner. All right. Okay, let's do a check on weather with Doppler Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away. Tom, how you doing?
Cold and snow.
Beautiful weather for Richard. He's loving it.
Grr.
Hey, it hasn't been too bad. You want to live on the East Coast? Then we'll talk.
Yeah, right.
Then all you would do is apologize for having it not be 3 feet.
So what you got for us?
This is pretty good. So, we were thinking that we were going to get a little bit of snow with that system that hit the East Coast this week, but it went straight south and completely missed us, and we got pretty lucky. We did see some snow this evening and this afternoon with this little Alberta clipper that brushed our area. We had a little bit of a wintry mix in the morning. We had a little break, and then more came in during the afternoon and evening. Temperatures have been around freezing. At times they have been above freezing. So at this time, the roads aren't too bad, but I am expecting them to kind of ice up as we get into the overnight hours because those temperatures behind us are actually going to plummet pretty well tonight. We're going to be in the teens for overnight lows, and those clouds will slowly break as we head throughout the overnight hours. We'll actually see some sun in as we get into tomorrow, and those temperatures aren't going to be moving a whole lot, though. They're going to stay in the teens for daytime highs out there. So the sun will be out, but the temperatures aren't going to be following. And as we get into the weekend, the majority of the weekend at this time looks pretty good. Saturday, we'll see some more clouds move in throughout the day, and those temperatures will get to around freezing. I don't think we're going to get above freezing, but we'll get close to freezing. And enjoy it while it lasts because this is going to be one of the nicest days of the whole next week. So the big change is happening in the weather department, and it's not looking too good if you like temperatures being cold, because cold is definitely coming as we get into next week. But finishing out the weekend, Sunday, we're looking at another storm system affecting the eastern United States, and at this time, the majority of that storm system is going to be heading south of us. We'll probably see a little bit of light snow on the northern edge of this system, but at this time, it looks like it's going to go south of us, so that's some good news. So I'm not expecting any big snow as we get into Super Bowl Sunday, but it's something that we have to watch, though, because models change dramatically as you get the overnight run, so we'll be on top of it. But as I said, as we get into next week, it's going to get much colder.
Is David aware of this?
Those will be in the single digits, so
Yeah.
the best days of the week, if you want the warmer temperatures, in a way, are going to be in the 20s on Tuesday and Wednesday. So
something that he'd
other
really
than that,
be interested in.
by next week, I'm not expecting any big storm systems to be moving through. We'll probably see a little bit of light snow on Wednesday, but I'm not expecting any big snowstorms at this time, so that's some great news. But the cold weather is going to be sticking around, so keep your jacket and all that winter gear where it's at, because we probably have at least another good month of winter upon us as we get into February. Then we'll see what March brings, but at this time, it doesn't look like a warm-up coming. But the warm-up has been in the center of the country. If you want warm weather, go into all the plain states from Texas all the way into the Dakotas. Believe it or not, have been in the 70s and 80s, so it's been pretty nice. In the middle part of the country, as I said early in the show, that East Coast has been dealing with a pretty big storm system over the last few days and early in the week. That storm system now is completely gone, but leaving in its foot all the way from New Jersey all the way to Maine, one day of snow. And a lot of coastal regions they've seen a lot of blizzard conditions, and a lot of problems out there on the island of Nantucket. So if you want to be out there, if you're in the path of these storms, because those are the places that get a lot of the wind and a lot of the waves and a lot of the snow and ice. So that's the best place to be involved right now. And unfortunately, another storm system is heading toward that region. Luckily, it's not going to be as bad, but it's going to be from the system that gave us the snow tonight. It's going to cross into the northeast overnight and into the weekend and into late in the weekend. Maine will be the worst hit. They'll probably see a lot more snow out there. Have you ever been to Maine? It's a very beautiful state. I've been to Maine.
Yeah, well, I've been to New Hampshire, but not Maine as far as New Hampshire. Really nice.
Well, but they're going to get more and more snow. They would think 1 to 2 feet of snow
It's
with this
nicer in the
other
summertime.
system, and now with this system, they'll see another foot of snow. So they're definitely going to be covered in snow as we get into Maine. But the other big story, as I said, is that storm system in the middle part of the country. It's starting right now in the southwestern United States. They're getting a little clouds and drizzle and temperatures in the 70 in Arizona, where they're going to be playing the Super Bowl, and they're all like crying because the tailgate is not going to be the best before the game. And I mean, come on, it's not that bad weather. By the time we get to Super Bowl Sunday, that storm system will be gone and the sun will come back out. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of weather just gets them all rattled up. It just gets me all in a twist. But as I said, that storm system moves into the center of the country and then affects the Northeast as we get into the late week and into next week. So it's another storm system to watch, but it could be a big one as well. But at this time, I think that storm system will stay south of us. So that's good. But other than that, that's been pretty much the weather headlines. Warm in the center of the country. The storm track in the east has been pretty busy, and the west it's been pretty dry. Again, they need the rain, but I don't see any rain for California, and that's bad. But if you want to keep tuned to the local weather information, just go to my website, DopplerTomsWeather.com. And the last little note I said, I have to say is, you probably saw this on Facebook, Kerry. Our friend in the UK, they've seen some snow today as well.
Yes,
which is
I
pretty rare for
saw
me.
that.
Good. I'm
So,
glad.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have liked to have them on here tonight to talk about that. Wow, they look like they got quite a bit, too.
Yeah, it was that heavy, wet snow like we've seen, and it sticks to everything. And
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty rare for him to get snow, but
Crazy.
he got some. So he's probably resting from all that shoveling.
Yeah, I imagine. Having some wine.
Yeah.
So February coming in like a lion and going out like a lion?
What's that?
Is February coming in like a lion and going out like a lion?
At this time, I don't see any big storm systems. So right now, it's coming in as a lamb, but we'll keep tuned. But there could be some change. At this time, it's a lamb.
Pull his mic close.
Yeah. I don't know. The high temperatures for Sunday and Monday don't sound very lamb-like to me.
No, they don't.
Lamb chops on the grill.
Active weather. You can't do anything with this cold. It's winter for crying out loud. But at least we're not seeing any big storms.
We are
Yeah.
crying out loud, Tom.
Yeah. Hey,
Go
average high temperature is 32. Come
It
on.
still ain't like last year, boy, that's for sure. That was crazy.
If you can live through that, you can live through anything.
Yeah,
sir.
exactly. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, well, at this time, I think I'm going to introduce our guest. He's on the phone right now. He is our good friend of the show, Senator David Knezek. Senator, you on the phone?
I'm here.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Trying to brave the elements here on the west side of the state.
Yeah, why don't you first off explain to our listeners why you're calling in and where you're at?
So one of the things that the House caucus and the Senate caucus likes to do, relatively new in each calendar year, is to take a day or two, get the caucus out to an off-site location, just to give everybody the opportunity to bond and get to know one another. You guys still picking me up good over there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, we can hear you just well.
You picking Richard up?
Okay. Yeah, not too bad. And so we've got the whole Senate Democratic caucus here in South Haven for the next 2 days, just to give us an opportunity to bond with one another
And drink.
get to know everybody and what our priorities are, and see if there's opportunities for one another to work together
And drink.
for the next 4 years. Yeah.
The whole Senate Democratic caucus could
Richard's
fit in a
giving you
minivan.
You hear Richard, right, being smart butt over
No,
there.
no, I don't hear what you're coming across.
He goes, yeah, get to know one another and drink. Get to know one another
No,
and drink.
it sounds like he's jealous he wasn't invited. That's
I am very, very jealous.
Hey, that's all right. We're having a Bud Light for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate it. So we're here in South Haven. We're right in a little conference center right on Lake Michigan, and got in today, and we'll be here through tomorrow.
So, yeah, what's the weather there? A lot of snow there?
Yeah, the snow is, it's not crazy, but it's a little bit heavier than what we had on the east side of the state when I left town. So
Right.
it's chillier than what we expected.
Well, I know you don't have much time. You mentioned that you had some committee assignments today. You want to talk about those and what you would like to accomplish on them?
Sure. For the new members that came in this year, we picked up our new committee assignments. Today was my actual first committee meeting. And so I'm excited. I've got 7 new assignments this year. I'm going to be on the Appropriations Committee.
Wow.
My subcommittee on appropriations will oversee community colleges. The other one will, it's actually a committee that Commissioner LeBlanc has a tremendous amount of familiarity with, that deals with the state police budget and military and veterans affairs. Additional to that, I'm going to be the vice chairman of the Education Committee,
Wow.
vice chairman of the Military and Veterans Affairs Committee. I'm going to be on the Health Policy Committee, and I'm going to be on Energy and Technology Committee. So they'll be keeping me busy over here.
Yeah, so you pretty much got all the committees you really wanted, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, education,
everything that we
veterans.
wanted over here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you plan on accomplishing? I mean, if you know an agenda yet, what you want to do, kind of share a little
I
bit
think
with us?
the good thing having come from the House last year is that the things that we didn't get done last year, we're able to pick right up where we left off and start pushing those issues here in the Senate. One of the things that has gotten some great media play the last week and a half here that I feel very confident about in terms of getting it passed in 2015. It deals with that service dogs piece for the veterans that have PTSD and TBI. So
Right.
Excited about that, and I'll tell you, I know you're excited about this, Kerry. I had a meeting with the guys from the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs again just yesterday, and you will not believe the first thing that they come up to me is, we need somebody to make a priority out of bringing a veterans home to southeastern Michigan.
Wow.
And I said, well, let me tell you what, it's been a priority on our list for quite some time now.
They come to the right guy.
So, right. So I'm excited about that. You know, on the education front, it seems to be the same fights over and over and over as it relates to making sure that we've got the necessary funding and providing the resources that we need to have a very competitive education system. And an issue that's going to be very hot and heavy, I don't think it really has gotten the media attention recently, is the energy shortfall. Because we've got these changes coming down from the federal government, the new EPA guidelines, Michigan's going to be closing up 9 different plants here in the next couple of years, and we're going to have about a 900 megawatt shortage as it relates to the energy needs here in our state. So we're going to have a very serious conversation about where we are going to generate that electricity from, what it's going to cost, how it's going to look like as it relates to, coal or renewable energy, what have you. So
Alternative.
for me, that's a relatively new committee. It's a new space that I'm going to be operating in, but at the same time, it looks very exciting. So I'm excited about that too.
So what do you think we can get more wind power in Michigan or what?
When you look at wind power, this is a great question. The challenge obviously is that it only works when the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
And when you look at what's the most affordable types of energy out there right now, natural gas is the most cheap or the cheaper form of energy out there. The most expensive is actually solar. And right below solar, though, you've got wind energy. So it's extremely expensive to produce.
Yeah.
And when you look at the places across the state where you can actually put in additional wind farms or put in some additional windmills, we're relatively limited in terms of the space and where we're going to start encroaching into private individuals' property. And so I think that on the whole, the conversations that we've had with the committee members, with the governor and his staff, is that they want to move towards more renewables and they want to move towards more clean sources of energy. It's just a matter of us having an honest conversation with ourselves about what is going to meet the needs that we have, knowing that we're going to be shutting down these plants for the next couple of years because of the guidelines coming out of the federal government. So I think that wind is definitely a part of that conversation. I think solar is a part of that conversation, natural gas as well. But again, we're going to have a very big shortfall here in the next 2 years. Wind alone isn't going to cut it.
No.
And so we just need to make sure that we're meeting the needs that we have here in the state.
And solar is the most expensive, right? You said?
That's correct.
Wow.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, but actually, that probably would be the way to go. I mean, we don't have space for windmills.
But well, the biggest challenge that we've got right now, and California is kind of taking this issue on pretty aggressively, is the issue of storage. Like I said, the wind power works when the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
The solar power works when the sun is shining. If we were able to generate as much electricity, as much energy as we could during the time that those are operational, and then store it to be used at a later date, it would make it a little bit more cost efficient. And so California is paving the way right now as it relates to generating that energy and then storing it for a later date and later usage. Once we get a little bit more advanced on those fronts, and once Michigan can bring that technology here to our state, I think you'll see an increased amount of conversation with those renewable forms of energy.
Well, we do have a lot of natural gas storage, though, right?
Yeah, if this is actually, it's one of those very heated issues between Democrats and Republicans right now. I think Democrats on the whole, they're not crazy about coal. I know that the commissioner, he likes anything that burns coal. But
especially barbecues.
Right. So let's say you don't like coal. Okay, you don't like coal.
Yeah.
What do you want to use? You want to use solar? You want to use wind? Okay, that'll do some of it. That'll make up some of it, but it's not going to meet the demand. The next cheapest alternative is natural gas. Well, how do you get natural gas? Through fracking, and there's concerns about the fracking process.
Yeah.
So again, it's you can't sit there and say that you're not happy with option A when you don't have an alternative solution. And we've got over 10,000 different fracking wells across northern Michigan right now. I think the primary concern for anybody that you talk to is, again, are we doing it safely? What are we pumping into the ground? Are we making our water safe and drinkable after the fact? And so if we can find a way to do that in a clean way and in an efficient way, in a way that doesn't poison the groundwater or have negative effects for the populace, I think you'd see a shift in terms of what the public sentiment is on that.
Well, you would think with our technology that we would be able to burn coal cleaner. I mean, figure out a way of how to do that. Don't you think?
Well, we've made automobiles cleaner.
Yeah.
But there's only so far you can go.
Exactly. And again, if you look at where we've been in years past, and if you look at where we're at now in terms of what we're burning and how we're burning, we have made a tremendous growth and improvement. But again, like the commissioner said, there's only so far you can go.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, Michigan is in year 6 of a 10-year application process for nuclear resources here in the state. And obviously people have concerns about that as well. But it's going to produce the most, and it's going to do it the cheapest.
Right.
And so, I wouldn't be surprised if we have those nuclear-related conversations creep up into the fold here the next couple of years. But again, on the whole, for me, that energy and tech space, it's new. But we've got folks here who are making a tremendous amount of investment in the state of Michigan between DTE or consumers or CMS Energy. And when I talk to these guys, I think by and large they want to do the right thing. They want to use more renewables. They want to make more clean energy. But then again, they're faced with the challenge of how do we make enough to meet the current demand that we have in our state.
All right.
So
you have 8 minutes left, so get rolling. What else you got?
Right. Sorry.
That's all right. Mike, did you have a comment? I think you
No, I was just going to ask him about nuclear and how that fit in, but he covered it.
Okay. All right, what else you got?
We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
That's really it. The health policy side, we're going to continue to have some of the debates we had last year about scope of practice and what the nurses can do versus the doctors and what have you. It's a big I call it turf war.
Yeah.
Each and every day when we're talking about these issues. But again, the governor, I think, by and large, laid out a pretty aggressive agenda in the State of the State the other week. And if you talk to most Democrats, we'd say that if the governor is sincere in what it is that he wants to address, and if he goes about it in a way that is genuine and brings everybody to the table in terms of having those conversations, I think we're relatively supportive of what he's been talking about, especially as it relates to some of the issues with community colleges and career and tech education. Those are issues that we've been talking about for years now, and we're glad that the governor agrees with us and wants to move the conversation forward in those areas.
Well, I guess the big thing now is just pushing that sales tax increase forward for the roads, huh?
Boo. Hiss.
Right.
That's going to be the big thing now.
I'm sure the commissioner can offer a different opinion on this.
I will.
Yeah.
But, the governor is out there, and certainly a number of us in the legislature are out there encouraging folks to take a very serious look at the proposal that's going to be on the ballot in May. I'm going to be voting yes on it, and I encourage folks to vote yes as well. But like you said, the challenge is going to be if we come up short in May, then what? And I've said from the beginning that I would have much rather had a legislature that solved the problem.
Right.
Absolutely.
Instead of laying it on us.
By ourselves.
Yeah.
And as the commissioner and others will tell you, as much as we wish that we were writing that proposal and bring it before everybody, at the end of the day, between the leaders of the House and the Senate and both parties, that's what was negotiated, and that's what was presented to us for a vote. And I voted in favor of it. From the beginning, we talked about the challenges presented by an increase in the sales tax and the fact that it's one of the more regressive taxes out there. But at the end of the day, that's what we were able to pass in a legislature that didn't seem interested in putting in the time or the effort to take a deeper dive on some of the issues that I think would have brought about an even greater level of equity as it relates to how we fund our roads and where we send those dollars.
Yeah.
So in the interim, I'm voting yes on Prop 1. I'm not telling folks that they have to do anything one way or the other, but I'm definitely encouraging folks to take a look at it and what the potential positive effects are as it relates to $300 million more dollars for our school system, $94 million additionally for our local government, and $1.3 billion additional dollars that's going to be dedicated to improving the roads and the bridges here in Michigan.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt something had to be done, but I mean, what's your census? Are you hearing that people are for it, against it? I mean, I'm hearing that it's not going to be a slam dunk. I'm hearing it's going to pass easily.
Well, they just had a couple polls that came out today,
Okay.
and
Right.
one of them showed a slight favoring for it, and then when people were given more details about what all was included, the schools and
The attachments and that.
and so forth, then it swung the other way that there were more people against it. So
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's hard to say this far out, but
Right.
it's helpful in terms of getting a baseline as far as where the
Yeah.
populace is at.
Right.
If you look back at Proposal 1 in the early 90s, I think roughly the same time period out from that election, we were thinking, well, actually, even as we got closer to Election Day, we were thinking that it might only pass with 52, 53%, and by the time the polls came in, it was almost 70% approval. So, you're going to see polls that tell you
Yeah.
both different directions this far out. As we get closer and as the election efforts ramp up in terms of voter education and trying to spread the message about what is actually on the ballot, I think you'll start seeing those numbers move pretty drastically. But to be honest, or to be forthright with you, the direction in which those numbers are going to move is probably yet to be said.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as a newly elected senator, it sounds like you're definitely going to get your feet wet. You're going to be a busy guy.
We really don't have much of a choice with a district the size that we do and the amount of assignments that we've got here in the office. So, luckily we've got a good team. We've got good relationships back down in the district. And, for me, it's been trying to go out there and build those same type of relationships in Redford Township and Northwest Detroit to make sure that we just keep doing what we're doing down there in the community and making sure we're representing the needs of the folks up there in Lansing.
Well, I'm sure you'll be doing a good job, that's for sure.
I know that if I don't, I got folks like you that are going to smack me around. So.
Yeah, you got that, and Mom Parton, too.
Yeah. Believe me, I know.
Mike, did you have something?
Well, a couple of things.
Yeah.
One, I agree with David. I think the legislature abdicated their responsibilities by throwing this out for us. They should have resolved it, but they didn't. So we have to move from there.
Right.
And the second thing that I have is the roads badly need an influx of money and effort to improve them, and there's no plan B. So if this fails,
That's
then
true.
we've got another whole year of construction and road repair that's probably down the drain, and they're just going to get dramatically even worse.
Yeah, that's very
But-
true. There is no plan B,
But
right?
that should not be a reason to vote yes, because the legislature is charged with doing it. So Plan B is they get back into the Capitol and
get
they
to work.
vote something.
Yeah.
Whether we lose time or not, that's the last legislature's fault based upon a recommendation by the governor.
Well, there you have it.
So our senator has 2 minutes left. And
All
then
right.
we're kicking him off because
Ra-
he has to get back to the things
Yeah.
that they do during a legislative retreat.
Drink. You said it. I didn't. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up here. I know you wanted to.
And I
share-
wish I were there. It is jealousy.
Yeah, me too.
The reason I say that
Yeah.
is strictly jealous.
Yeah. We'll have to do a road trip for sure.
After the vote.
Yeah. Speaking of road trip, did you get my text Tuesday about that? You wanted me to text you, right?
Yeah, we put in the ask to the Capitol Facilities folks to see when we can put together a little bus trip for the folks down there in Garden City to come up and visit us in the Capitol.
Right.
They were pretty quick to try and give us some dates over the summer when we're not in session, but I'm sure the commissioner can attest to the fact that it's certainly a bit more exciting when we're in session and you get to see a little bit of the action
Absolutely.
that plays out every day. So
Yeah.
we'll finalize a date and we'll send the invitations out and get you on the bus and bring you up to see what we do every day.
Sounds good. Now, I know you wanted to share some contact information. You have new contact information now, or?
Yeah, you know, it's well, funny isn't the right word. It sucks, frankly, because we've got some folks who run into the streets and they'll say that they tried to give us a call or an email and it gets bounced back to them because they don't know that we got new contact information there in the Senate. So I'll share very quickly. Our new number for the office in Lansing is 517-373-0994.
Okay.
517-373-0994. And our new email address, they take send, Senator, break it down to send, and then use our first initial last name. So it's send Knezek. Like send Knezek an email. So send Knezek at senate.michigan.gov. And you spell out all of those. .senate.michigan.gov, G-O-V.
Senate.michigan.gov. Okay. All right, and I'll mention that once again at the end of the show for everybody. So, yeah, we got to get that out there.
And of course, we've got our Facebook and our Twitter up, and so I know some folks prefer to use those methods.
Right.
Whatever they want to use to get a hold of us, we'll try and make it work.
Yeah, the Facebook page is awesome. You get a lot of information out there quickly to folks. So.
We try.
Yeah, they can like your page, and that way they're informed. So, sounds good.
Right. And we're in the process of merging those two pages right now, the campaign page, the Senate page, so that everybody who was tracking what we were doing in the campaign will also be up to date on what we're doing in the Senate office. So I think we got 10 more days before they do that final merge.
Okay. And did you get your new cards yet?
Haven't gotten the new business card
I
yet.
liked your old ones. The ones you made.
Yeah.
The ones you made.
I will reserve comment on my frustrations with the pace of getting things like business cards and the letterhead and what have you. So,
man, I hope you can pass a bill quicker.
We got some temporary cards, but that's about it.
If you need any more of mine, just let me know.
Oh yeah, it was popular, that choice.
I know
Very
it was.
popular.
And let's get it out there. You shaved your beard.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
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 The excitement of some people in this conversation.
Yeah, there's two guys that are real excited about that.
Right.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Mike Jones didn't like it either.
Yeah.
No,
right.
Well, I like you a lot better without it.
Let me ask you now, do you have to retake your 98th legislature picture now? Official.
I haven't thought that far ahead, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be encouraged to relatively soon here.
Yeah, I think so.
Before they print the picture, which is going to be pretty quick, so get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Take a selfie and just send it to them.
You know, I think that could work out.
That could work. All right.
The first ever legislative selfie.
All right, and one more
right.
thing I just want to ask you.
Sure.
Your Super Bowl picks for Sunday.
Oh, geez. I mean, I got to think that the Patriots are going to win.
Okay, you're picking Patriots?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Patriots. I'm a Tom Brady guy. I'm a U of M guy, so I'm going to go with the Patriots.
All right. Any score you want to mention?
Playing in it, because that would be really embarrassing if I didn't.
Yeah, Seattle and Patriots. You want to mention a score or no? Just pick the Patriots?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go 27-20 for the Patriots.
Ooh.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Appreciate it.
We'll leave it at that. Hey, have a great time there while you're there. Get a lot of work done and socializing, and we'll be in touch, all right? Thanks again for coming on.
Anytime, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, David Knezek from
Senator David Knezek.
Senator David Knezek. All right, well, look, we're going to go back now, and we're going to get
Gardening.
our gardening segment with Holly and Joey. So let's listen in and see what they got for us tonight.
This is Gardening in 2 Minutes. Peppers can be a wonderful addition to your backyard garden, but getting them started from seed can be tricky if you don't know all the tricks of the trade.
Peppers are a tropical plant to begin with, So when you grow them, you need to mimic their tropical conditions, such as having heat from the bottom when you start the seeds, having proper heat when you put them outside, and proper amounts of sunlight.
Peppers need a lot of heat, as Holly talked about, getting germinated. Now, if you are trying to start your own seeds and you do not have adequate bottom heat, whether that be just a heat pad that you would pull out of your bathroom, or you purchase a specific seed starting heat mat, or you just put them on a radiator at a very warm temperature until they get roots established, this may not be the best thing for you. You may want to utilize your starting seed space with something else and just purchase those peppers starts from an online source or your local retailer. Now, there also is a variety of different peppers from mild to extremely hot. And you may think you enjoy a hot pepper. One piece of advice we will give you is before you go and purchase seeds and work and try to get that pepper to grow so you can enjoy that heat of that pepper, find out if you even like that hot intensity of that specific pepper. Try to purchase one online or at your local garden grocery store. Make sure you do like the heat and the flavor of that pepper so you don't waste all that time. So these are just some of the many tips. For more information on growing peppers and the tips that are required to have successful starts, our weekly video productions, as well as our free downloadable digital quarterly magazine, you can find all that information at
thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.
For the health-conscious organic gardener worldwide. For Gardening in 2 Minutes, I'm Joey Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. Okay, the City Council wanted me to remind you that the next City Council meeting will be Monday, February the 9th at 7 p.m. at City Hall. That's located at 6000 Middlebelt Road. And the council urges all residents to attend. Also, the State of the City address by Mayor Walker will be held February 24th at Albert's on the Alley. A free continental breakfast will be served at 8 a.m., and the mayor's speech will be held at 8:30, starting at 8:30.
Did you say free?
Yes, free.
We're going to be there.
We'll be there. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we'll all be there. Albert's is located at 5651 Middlebelt Road. You have to RSVP by February 20th if you want that free continental breakfast by calling 734-261-2830, or you can email Teresa at downtowngardencity.com. All right, let's get our co-host in here, your commissioner and mine, Mr. Richard LeBlanc. Richard, what's
Here.
up in the county?
I'm here. So we are, of course, still in month one of a new administration overseeing the daily operation of Wayne County.
Right.
Myself, one of the vice chairs, and the chairman today met with the executive and two of his team members. They wanted to talk about the forthcoming plan that will be offered for consideration to address in a very significant way our financial condition. And, you know, I've told folks accurately the financial position is better today than when I got there. There are a number of factors, though, that suggest that within this year and extending into potentially 2016, number of things that are at play, if we stay at status quo, will really throw us into a very precarious situation. So
Really?
the executive was, I'll say, light on details, but shared very conceptually some of the things that could be addressed. I'm expecting,
So he's got a plan then.
I believe he has a plan. I believe that what they're doing is they're tuning it right now
Yeah.
during discussions with commissioners and other folks. And next Thursday I think at 1 p.m., they're going to reveal the plan to the commission. And that'll literally be just moments after a public press release event.
Oh.
So they're inviting the press to the county building.
So that'd be a big show next Thursday.
It will be a big show.
Yeah.
And, you know, what we talked about was the politics of it, who's going to be affected, which is pretty much everybody, and, you know, what it's going to take.
Yeah.
So what it
And
takes,
dealing with the jail too, right? Is this what I'm assuming, or?
that was not part of our conversation today. This is our
Just-
day-to-day structural difficulties. The county spends nearly $50 million more annually than it takes in.
Not good.
Wow.
It's not sustainable, but it's gone on for a long time.
Yeah.
And
So you got to stop the bleeding
we
there.
also have a situation where there are so many retirees, many county employees who have retired at a very young age with a pretty
Healthy.
healthy pension and health care for the balance of their lives.
Yeah, you had mentioned that before on a
It's
previous
very,
show.
very
Legacy costs
expensive.
are real out of control.
Yeah.
So you know what? I, as my two colleagues said, we'll be waiting with bated breath,
Right?
waiting to see the plan.
See what the plan is.
And I'm confident that whatever the plan is, folks will be looking across the table. They'll try to figure out who's where. Whatever gets done is going to be by a divided vote. There will not be unanimity.
Now, just explain to me, as a commission, can you guys nix anything in his plan? I
Yeah.
mean, tweak it, or
Well,
does he work for you guys?
no, he doesn't.
Okay.
The executive is
answer
a
you?
different branch. It's like a governor to the legislature. It's
Okay.
like a strong mayor to a city council.
So how much influence does the commission have over him? I mean,
Well, the commission really has two large responsibilities. Number one, to adopt a budget. Number two, to establish and modify ordinance. So once the commission gives a budget to the executive spends money and makes things happen or keeps things from happening. The commission's strength at that point is less than during the budget process itself. So this is different, though. We've witnessed many communities and school districts come under the jurisdiction of an emergency manager.
Right.
City of Detroit.
yeah.
So legally, certain power can be taken away from the legislative body. And as a legislator, I want to help fix the problem. I don't really want us to get to a point where
Be a part of it,
somebody
or-
else
yeah.
has to come in and fix it for us, and
Right.
perhaps against the wishes of the commission. But I'm also pragmatic.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes, because I'm interested in fixing it.
Right.
Even though I wasn't there when these things happened. I didn't vote for anything, because I wasn't there, that helped contribute to this.
Now, let me ask you this. Is there any way that Wayne County could declare bankruptcy like Detroit did?
Well, it's if you put a comma in there, or two sentences, I'd say yes. Could Wayne County declare bankruptcy? I believe yes, and it would take help from the state. Like Detroit did? No, it wouldn't be like Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit's issues involved creditors,
Yeah.
and it involved one government. So,
I guess I just wanted to know if you could declare bankruptcy, period.
But it's a good question. Part of it is that Detroit, with one government, they have a mayor and a city council. It's easier to come in and say, we're going to oversee now this one government. In Wayne County, there are 5. You have the county proper, or county itself. You have the sheriff, high elected, register of deeds,
That's right.
clerk, and treasurer.
Yeah.
So you have 5 separate governments that are inside the county. It is more
interesting.
problematic, but you know what? There's smart people working at the state. They'll figure it out. If
Yeah.
that's the direction we
that's
go,
what
they'll
it-
figure it out.
Right.
And at that point, I think that the ones who are more at risk are the ones that are not the executive and the commission, the other high electeds, because they're really they're subjected to the whim and the vote of the county commission for their money.
And the sheriff and the prosecutor have traditionally always overrun their budgets.
Those
Yeah.
two
True.
entities are responsible for the largest portion of overspend, but to be fair,
Yeah.
I would tell you that they say they're not allocated sufficient funds to address public safety problems.
Well, we
So-
know under the last regime they weren't.
Yeah,
according to-
so irrespective of all of it, bottom line is, if you take in $1, you can't spend $1.50.
Correct.
And, so
yeah.
It would
work's cut
appear,
out.
at least now, that the executive is interested in really going after this
Fixing
right
it.
away.
Good.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's a big
that
deal.
was part of what happened. Committee assignments were also announced.
Oh,
So I have a couple different committees this
yeah?
term.
You too?
I do. So I'm still a member of Appropriations. I'm
okay.
still Vice Chair of Government Operations. I have been added to the Health and Human Services Committee, which, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There's
About
another
ethics?
committee, pardon me?
How about Ethics Committee?
We don't have one.
Honest to God?
Well, we have an ordinance.
Okay.
So we have an ethics board,
Oh, okay.
and actually, former Senator Glenn Anderson was just appointed to it last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, breaking news.
He was,
Congrats, Glenn.
I was consulted by the chair. I then asked Glenn, and Glenn was approved unanimously.
Oh, very good.
But it's a board that governs that.
Yeah.
Then I became chairman of the Economic Development Committee.
Oh, wow.
So that's new.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on in that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's hopefully going to be a lot more and a lot different.
Yeah.
And, a lot of our financial difficulty arose from alleged economic improvement within the county. When the Pinnacle Racetrack was developed, that was through economic development. When
Yeah, that
two
was-
projects, one in Inkster and one in Plymouth, went sideways with the federal government, and the counties had to pay back lots of money, like millions of dollars to the federal government. That was through economic development at the time. The Guardian building that we sit in right now,
Yeah.
that was one of those super
Is
deals.
that a new outlet store going out where the racetrack
I'm
was?
not aware of that. I mean, I've heard
In
it,
that area?
but that's going to likely involve the city of Romulus more
Right.
than it'll involve the county.
Right.
But it's not on our agenda.
Okay.
So I'm chair of that, and so we'll see how that all goes.
Now, as far as the city of Detroit, it's the largest city in Wayne County. Did you have that working relationship? Is there a working relationship with the mayor and the city of Detroit?
So,
Or county?
so the commission, in my opinion, has individually relationships with the mayor and or members of the council.
Mm-hmm.
Collectively, there's not partnerships that would lend themselves to a cooperative working arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you that Mayor Duggan and Executive Evans are close friends.
So that really helps.
That was very helpful.
Yeah.
And folks like me and other commissioners, we have personal relationships on the council. I mean, I know personally a number of the Detroit City Council members, and that's helpful. In fact, my monthly coffee hour this past Thursday, one of them stopped in to say hi. So,
Oh, okay, cool.
so yeah, you have
You got to have that
You do.
relationship.
You
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. That's good you do, too. I mean,
And I might add, my monthly coffee hour,
yeah.
the executive either had or allowed or whatever, probably about 40 of his people stopped in, which I thought was pretty cool. A
Wow.
lot of new people I had never met before.
You must be going through some stuff, man.
It cost me about $120 a month,
Wow.
but it's worth it. It's good relationship
That
building.
is.
People look forward to it.
That's cool.
Jay tells me every Thursday people come in wanting to know if that's the week. Once a month.
That's nice. That is nice, though.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you do that. So what else you got on your long list there?
Let's see. Well, you had asked last week about roads.
Yeah.
One of the things that was adopted Thursday was the ongoing 5-year capital improvement plan.
Right.
Now, this will sound parochial, and it's intended to. I've always been a hands-off and allow the professionals to do their work when it comes to these projects. Other folks are not that way, and that's their business. So I haven't said, for example, I either need this fixed in my area or you're not getting my support on X, Y, or Z. I treat things differently. There are no projects that are newly proposed for the next cycle that would be directly within the 12th district. So there are a lot of projects, but when I look at
Not
this,
in our
there's
area.
two things that stand out. Detroit and our townships. And I actually think that that's pretty fair. One of the problems that we have as a county government when there are townships within it, townships by law, if you will, don't have road departments. The county has that responsibility. And the county has, to a very large degree, just provided maintenance of effort, and that's pretty much it. Not much beyond that. So local communities have sought local millages, for example, to fix their roads, and they're creative regarding other methods of addressing their infrastructure issues. So I'm okay with this. I am. I know that if something comes up that requires additional influence, then we'll work on it at that point. Part of this is because I also have a sheet, and we get these every month. It's called a service request, and I'll let you have a quick look at it.
Yeah.
What this is Wayne County. It's all the commissioners geographically, and it's spelled out how many contacts there were for Department of Public Service requests.
Okay.
How many folks called and said, I have a problem, or there is a problem with a pothole or a bridge or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now, when you look at this list, I can see, of course, you can't see on the radio, but what I can see is that the ones that have the really high numbers, like Diane Webb, she has a large portion of her responsibility is Redford Township.
Right.
Geographically, Diane probably has, maybe a tie for the smallest geography. Yet
But
she's
the
number
most...
2 in terms of requests for service.
Wow.
At 104 last month, October. That's the most recent month. Whereas I had 29. And they all get addressed.
Yeah.
Shannon Price, a commissioner for Plymouth Township and Canton Township. 145.
Jesus.
Kevin McNamara, no longer there, of course, but while he was there, most all, except for the city of Wayne, most all of his responsibility was townships, 80. So when I look at this, I know what's happening. Our communities, Garden City, Westland, Inkster, we have road responsibility. We have road department people.
So we need to get the people calling.
Well, no. What it means is that
like Cherry Hill,
largely our folks are taking care of these issues.
Yeah.
Their own roads.
Well.
Yeah. And in the townships, they don't have those folks to do it.
That's true.
So, hey,
So then, you're good with that then.
Like you just said, Cherry Hill, it's a mess.
Oh, my God.
And it is.
It's
but
bad.
we also have to remember that these projects, they're not just financed by the county. They involve the state and they involve the locals.
Yeah.
These things are not just drawn out of thin air, these lists.
Right.
The communities have to agree to partner up and to put money in.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm not suggesting this happen, but let's say they went to any town within Wayne County, and the mayor and city council of any town says, we don't have the money to invest next year. Don't put us on the list. That could be part of this reason.
That could be. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
A little insight there. So we'll have to wait a while longer for Cherry Hill to get done.
It could be.
Yeah. Okay.
So aside from that, my other stuff here is, you see I got more scribbly with my notes.
I see. You got a
But
lot
we
of
were
notes
talking
there.
about the tax vote. So it started off really nicely,
Yes.
and then when the senator was on there, I had to scribble a few more things on
a
there.
little debate there.
Yeah.
Would you
So-
scribble?
Well, the tax increase vote is scheduled for May 5th.
Okay.
Some of the things that are coming out that people are finding out about now is changing their perception of the vote itself.
It's not all roads.
Well, right. And when this happened in December, they said, well, there's going to be a vote in May to help fix your roads. What they didn't say is it's also going to go to fix your schools.
Oh, the attachments.
It's going to go to fix your transit issues. It'll influence local revenue sharing, earned income tax credit. It'll cost you collectively, as a state, $102 million that you no longer be able to deduct on your federal tax form for license plates and registration. There's a lot of stuff
a
that's
lot
coming
of
out.
hidden stuff in there.
So,
Well, it ain't hidden, but people just don't know about it.
so I was intrigued that on the way home from the State of the State a week and a half ago, I was listening to 760 AM, and they were talking about this. And Paul Welday, a Republican strategist that I know, he was on the radio, and what he said is, this is just a big Christmas tree. There's so many things hanging off of it to get all of this support, and I view it that way as well. And so what I started scribbling when the senator was on there was buy a toaster, fix a pothole, because you're paying extra tax on that toaster.
Right.
Take the family to a dinner, help fund a bus system.
Yeah, pretty much that's what you're doing with that sales tax.
When you pay more to purchase your license plates, you're going to be assisting someone's school district. Might not be yours, but someone's. This stuff,
Wow.
I think, is not worthy of a yes vote.
And
as we get closer
they're
to it,
getting
my
all that
mouth's
out of
gonna be bigger.
1% increase.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
So they offered a lot of promises to get a lot of people
But a
on
lot
board.
more of that could have went to the roads if it wasn't covering all that other stuff hanging off the tree.
Well, certainly just using round numbers right now, about $500,000, I'm sorry, $500 million
Yeah,
annually.
yeah, that's more like it.
Because you've got 300 going to schools, you got 100 that's being taken away through the federal tax, you've got local revenue sharing, our mass transit systems, and the ITC that are well in excess of $100 million. So you've got $500 million that's going to be a part of this that's not going to roads.
Right, put away, yep, for all that other crap.
And so
And I mean, it's not crap. Education's important, but
it is. But I'm going to tell you that all of these responsibilities, EITC, the legislature in 2011 were the ones that got rid of that, largely got rid of that. They did it. Schools, decreased funding, that was done by the legislature. Mass transit, those monies have been attacked by certain members of the legislature forever and a day. Local revenue sharing, continually decreased by the state legislature.
Yep.
All
That's
of this
big
stuff
there.
was done, well, I shouldn't say that it was all done within, but each of these items were decreased within
And now
the
they want
past
the
4 years.
constituents to vote it back.
Well, there you go.
There you
So-
go. Bingo. So, yeah,
You might want to frame this.
when you put it that way, yeah, leave
I
that
am
on
going
there.
to be putting it that way.
I mean, when it's put that way, that really opens your eyes, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'm going to stand by what I said when the councilman was saying there is no plan B. Do not let that influence your decision.
No, it
because
shouldn't.
plan B is they will go back into the Capitol
And do
they'll
their
do
job.
Something. They'll do
Right.
something.
right,
That is
earn their money.
They've
responsibility.
done their job in the first place.
I don't care if they have a plan B or not. They should have,
Hey,
but the fact that they don't does not influence my decision.
we waited this long, we'll wait another year, right? Come up with something where it
I
ain't
don't
hitting
wanna
me
wait
in the
another year
pocketbook
either.
that much.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, so I'm going to get off that horse and I'm going to get on to another one real quick. So I found this in my office today.
Uh-huh.
I've had it there probably since about September. Friends of the Garden City Historical Museum, Paver brick order form.
Right.
So I'm going to encourage folks that are out there to consider contacting the museum,
Yep.
to consider being supportive. It's a very modest cost. I'll leave it that way.
We have a brick there.
For
our family.
Paver brick. I've got bricks in various parts of various communities all over the place. They're
Yep.
cheap.
Yep.
And
And it supports them. It helps them out.
so when I saw this in the office today, I thought I'm going to bring it home and mention it tonight.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
And the Kiwanis, they're going to have aren't they having a dedication over there, dinner dedication?
Yeah.
You want to comment on that?
I don't recall the date, but.
I don't either.
We spent
It's coming up, I know,
probably close to $2,000 for a whole walkway,
for past members.
memorializing past
members.
Kiwanians who have
Okay.
passed.
That's
while
nice.
They were Kiwanians.
Yeah, I encourage people to go over there and support them too, and just check out the walkway over there. It's pretty nice, pretty impressive, and they do a good job. And they really need the help. So, all right, Richard, that's all you got?
That's it for now.
That's it for now?
For now.
All right. All right, moving along. Mark your calendars on next week's show, February 5th. State Representative Robert Kozowski will be here, Richard.
Oh, what
From
are we
the
letting him in here
16th
for?
And you know what? I'm going to tell him to dress casually, man.
You don't know how. He's a sharp-dressed man.
He's a sharp GQ, man. Robert Kozowski will be here.
He's a clothes
from the
horse.
Huh?
He's a clothes horse.
Yeah, he is. He's a sharp dresser, but I'd like to see him in jeans and a sweatshirt. We can dress casual here, Bob. All right, he's from the 16th District, which includes the city of Wayne and part of Westland. He's going to be our guest. And then on February 19th, representing the 11th District, which includes Garden City, Inkster, part of Dearborn Heights, part of Westland, and part of Livonia, our newly elected state rep, Julie Plowicki, is going to be here. So you won't want to miss that. We'll see how she's doing and how she's settling in with her new job. Don't forget, if you're interested in coming on the show, we would love to have you. You might be, if you're interested in coming on and sharing a story you might have, or maybe you own a business and you'd like to provide that to the community, then we'd like you to come on and share with us. Now's the time to contact us so we can get you scheduled for upcoming show. If you're interested, just email us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com. We'll shoot you some dates that are available, and it's that simple. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, the Garden City Business Alliance will be having their next meeting Friday, February 13th at 6 p.m. at the Straight Farmhouse. Richard, 6 p.m. if you can make it.
What day is that?
February 13th. It's a Friday.
I won't be there. I already know I got something. What is it? Oh, big game dinner. The Senator and I will both be there, actually.
Okay.
Yep. It's a big annual event with, I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's over at the Italian. Is that Italian American?
There's probably 1,000 people there.
Cheryl's been there before. She's done that. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, both Senator Knezek and I will be there.
All right.
And Robert Kozowski will also be there.
Well, everybody else can come. Grand Parlor, located at 6221 Merriman Road. That's just north of Ford Road. Now, if you're interested in joining or would like to have more information about the GCBA, check out their website at gardencitybusinessalliance.org or email them at gcbusinessalliance@gmail.com. Remember, we will upload this show when it's available to our Facebook page at facebook.com/gcchat. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/communitychatshow. And while you're there, why not subscribe? Just click on the little subscribe button there. It's red, I believe. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, I got to mention this. Oh, you wanted to mention something there I gave you there, Mike.
I got a few things, whenever you're ready.
All right, well, let me do this here. We'll do this.
Sure.
Garden City High School is having their project graduation annual prom fashion show. That's going to be Saturday, January 31st at the Garden City High School in O'Leary Auditorium, 6500 Middle Belt Road. Please join the Garden City High School Project Graduation 2015, the annual prom fashion show. You're all invited to the latest fashions of prom attire modeled by senior class members. In addition, local vendors will display their products and services beginning at 5 p.m. The evening will also feature various raffles, including 2 driver's education gift certificates. Vendor viewing begins at 5 p.m. Fashion show begins at 6. Admission is $5 at the door. For more information, you can call Laura Bennett at 734-812-1641. And also, February 7th, Saturday, registration begins at 6 p.m. and games begin at 7 p.m. for the Gordon Chevrolet Euchre Tournament. Cost is $20 per person. Pre-registration with S. Barber at GordonChevrolet.com. Limited space. You have to call right away. Call Sherry at 734-812-5580. Cash prizes for the top 3 highest points total. Raffles, 50-50, pizza pop are going to be provided. Must be 21 or older to play. Proceeds to benefit Children's Wishes of Michigan. That's February 7th. And let's see what else I got here. One more thing, then we'll get to Mike's. February 13th from 12 to 3, there's going to be a Valentine's Day party at the Maplewood Community Center. Located at 31735 Maplewood in Garden City. Tickets are $12 each. You can get them at the Balmoral desk. They're also going to have 50-50 and much more. So check that out. It's a great dinner, too. You get over there, great lunch. All right, Mike, what do you got there, sir?
Well, you just covered the Valentine's Day party, so I can check that one out.
Scratch that.
Got a couple of comedy nights coming up.
Yeah.
Kiwanis is having one on March 29th at Albert's on the alley. And
What's so funny about that?
you have to see the comedians. And there's another one, I'm sure it's probably on David's list because it's going to, proceeds are going to help Bloom's Landing, which is for returning veterans that are getting physical and have physical and mental wounds. It's up in near the Traverse City area, and that one is taking place on February 22nd. I think David would probably be well aware of that, and I'm sure he would support it.
Yeah.
They'll have the usual comedy night type things at both of these.
I think
Baskets for raffles, tickets.
Garden City's own Kevin Kramus is hosting that, I believe. Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, that's one of his big activities.
Yeah, he does a good job, too.
He's not a bad comedian himself, but he brings in some other people that are pretty good.
Yes, he does. He does. He does a good job.
Yeah. The Garden City Key Club, which is the Kiwanis-sponsored high school group, is having their empty bowl banquet on February 26th. They prepare typically 10 to a dozen soups and chilies and so forth that you can use for your supper, but the donations, so nobody.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't tonight. That was February 26th. Right. Yeah, okay.
Okay, and that, so you don't go away hungry.
Right.
And they also have salad and desserts, but the proceeds for that typically go to some hunger organization to help feed hungry people. They selected each year which groups are going to receive it. We have this is more just a Kiwanis thing, but we have our prayer breakfast on Saturday, May 2nd at Amatea's. And I did find the date on that dedication for the walkway.
Oh.
That will be May 28th. We're having our anniversary dinner at the Straight Farmhouse, and we'll do the dedication for the walkway.
Is that Memorial Weekend?
I don't think so. That could be.
No,
that isn't.
Memorial Weekend is actually technically the weekend before that.
Okay. All right, good.
And that's about it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right, let me mention that the Senior Thrift Store over at the Maplewood Senior Center, they have all kinds of items over there, clothes, shoes, coats, kitchen items, and much more for sale. Store hours are 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and they're closed noon to 12:30 p.m. for lunch, Monday through Thursday. The Maplewood Center, 31735 Maplewood, west of Merriman in Garden City. Boy, I think that's all I got. Richard, you got anything else?
Nope.
Hey, how's the fraud task force going? You still on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
You going to be meeting again?
I don't think we meet until March, first week of March.
Yeah, you can give us an update on that.
Yep.
And I think you're working on getting Livonia police officer or something associated with that. Try and get him on?
Yes, a retired officer, Mike Lancaster.
Yeah.
Yep, we still have that in the queue.
Okay.
Still working on a date.
All right, sounds good. All right, let me mention calendars are still available. The new 2015 calendars from the Garden City Garden Club are still available. It's called Garden City Garden Club Paints It Up in the Garden. They're available at Lucky Dog Luxury Daycare and Boarding, 5921 Middle Belt Road in Garden City, 734-261-7387. Or you can order them through the contact page on their website at gcgc.weebly.com. Remember to include your name, phone number, email address, and how many you would like. Calendars are still only $12. They may have dropped the price now on those. But I know if you mention GC Community Chat through the rest of this month, you can get 2 for $20. So that's good. And they thank you for their support. Well, I think we're ready to call this a podcast.
It's a podcast.
I want to thank everyone that participated in tonight's show. Big thanks to Senator David Knezek. Also, thanks to my co-hosts, Richard and Tom. Great job, as always. And also, thank you to Mike Jones for coming by, as always. Good job, Mike. Appreciate it. And to Joey and Holly, all the way from Wisconsin. Looking forward to next week. Let's see. And thanks to everyone who hung out in the chat room with us. We really appreciate it. Remember, for the latest weather info, go to doppertomsweather.com. Also, if you have a show idea or a guest you'd like us to try and get on, drop us an email at gccommunitychat@gmail.com. We'll do our very best to get that on, or whoever, right?
Right.
We're working on that. We're getting more guests. We're trying. We're working. And let's see. So we hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Remember, the success of a community depends on the community. So support your local businesses. And also, if you see something, say something. Look out for one another out there. And check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, youtube.com/communitychatshow. Billy, get well. We're praying for you. So on behalf of Richard and Tom, Joey and Holly and Mike, thanks for listening. Take care, and see you next Thursday right here on TalkShoe.com. Good night.
Good night.